today we're going to go over how to become the one and only icon herself, Queen of Filth, Divine. We're going to go from this to... Alright, my loves, we have our eye patches on today because we are shooting the Cakeworthy line of their Divine collab as Divine. It is such an honor to be here and get to emulate this absolute icon. Now, I did try and cover my brows, but it did not work so well for me, and I need them to be perfectly smooth because we're also doing video today. Because she had no eyebrows, and I do, which means it's time to get rid of them. Oh my gosh. This is crazy, but it's for Divine. Divine is the reason why Ursula from The Little Mermaid looks like Ursula, because the artist drew her in her image. She also is the original Edna Turnblad in Hairspray, one of the most iconic drag queen performances ever. To this day, it's still not explained why Edna is played by a drag queen, but it's because it started out as Divine. You also probably know her from the very famous film Pink Flamingos with John Waters as the director, where she famously ate dog shit. Hence, Queen of Filth. But she was an incredible character actress and drag queen, and I'm very honored to be able to be emulating her today for this Cakeworthy line. What's really cool about this is that I had to be approved by Divine's estate. With their blessing, I am going to do the best job that I can. And that includes removing these brows. This is wild. The last time I removed my brows was to win a pageant. Now this is probably stressful for y'all at home watching, but Divine is an icon and a beloved one at that. So I want to do my best to make sure that I do her and the fan base proud. This kind of looks like dog poo. Should I eat it? Oh. Alright, so now that the brows are done, or your brows are covered, or maybe they're not covered and you want to work with your natural brow, that's okay too. Skincare. Make sure your skin is prepped because this is a lot of makeup. All done. Time for some primer. We're going to get rid of some of those pores. And then let's get into the Divine of it all, shall we? So I'm just going in with the Juvias Place Foundation. Now, I am choosing to emulate Divine when she would make her skin a little bit paler, kind of a la Ursula energy. But look at the coverage of this. Oh, such a beautiful foundation. Now that our foundation is on, we are going to go in and powder her down. You're going to want to use a lot of powder on this one. We're just going to go in. And they also, in the 80s, wouldn't have been using setting spray. I wonder if they used hairspray back then on their face to keep it on. I don't know if they even knew. Maybe. Does anybody know? If you know, let me know in the comments. I'm trying to keep this as authentic to the time as possible. I will be letting you know, though, I am going to use liquid eyeliner because she wore a lot of it. I'm going to go in with Maybelline. And we're going to add some brightness to our face. We're just going to go in here and start highlighting this area. Not too much. It mostly becomes blush after anyway. For anybody who has darkness on the upper lip, this does help kind of conceal that a bit better if you don't choose to color correct, which I don't. Now, she just had so much brightness in the middle of her forehead. So we're going to go ahead and start building that up. And I'm going to bring this across the brow bone just to conceal a little further that area and to give it a slightly different pigment than the skin. That is done. Now we're going to move on to the fun part, shaping the face. So we're going to be doing this today with a bronzer by Morphe, so that I can blend it away if it's not working. And it does start quite close to the inner corner of the eye. Then from here, we're going to just harshly bring her down. And we're gonna just bring this out here. I just wanna place it first and make sure that I like the shape and that it's reading as divine, one side. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. You just go right over top of that brown liner. It's also nice because it helps with like blending it out anyway. Helps diffuse the black a bit, even though it's about to become bold once we put the eyeliner over top. Before we continue though, I do want to do a little bit of nose contour. So I'm just using a fluffy brush. Now this is not how I would contour my nose, but if you look at Divine's nose, she doesn't do a lot of contour. So we aren't either, and it was all just on the outside of her nose and then underneath, which is very of the time. They didn't really contour their faces much, not like how we do now. Her liner is very, very heavy. She also had hooded small eyes like me, so this kind of works out well in my favor. Shout out to all my hooded small eye girlies out there. The tricky part is if you do have small eyes, you're gonna want to kind of keep them sort of open here. She did a hooked liner, so she would like really bring it down, so when her eye was open it still looked like it was connected. And we're going to bring this line straight out. There's not a lot of space between those two lines, but that's okay because there wasn't a lot of space between hers. I'm going to go ahead and cover my full lid. Take a look in the mirror and see, kind of looking straight on, if you need to cover your whole lid. You might have glorious eye space. Congratulations, you won't need to. But for me, I have to, so that you can see that liner. And it does go to a point. Right now, I do have some color here that I'm not liking the shape. So I'm going to just take a big fluffy brush. And we're just going to blend it. But see how it just goes away? So much easier than had I started with black. If you go in with black, you know what they say, once you go black, you can't go back. So baby, it applies to makeup too. I'm still using this really fine brush. I like the control that this gives me. Now we're gonna move into one of these little baddies. So Divine passed away in 1988, and her eye look was so iconic, and her makeup was so iconic, and her legacy is iconic. And yes, I said it 3 times because it's true. I normally don't even use that word, but it applies to Miss Diva. But here I am in 2025, emulating her, and about to shoot for Cakeworthy's new line of Divine clothing. Come on. That's iconic. So stop calling all the girls around you iconic because they performed for 3 months. There's a lot of pigment in this under eye outer corner. So we're going to extend that down just a little bit. And then you're going to drag it across. On this outer corner, she did always drag out the outer corner just a little bit. I'm assuming she probably used a Q-tip because that's what I've seen kind of done. But we're going to just go ahead and use our brush. Just really bringing it out there, just fluently. You don't want it to be too much or you turn into Cleopatra in 3 seconds. So be light-handed. So the palettes that I'm using today are the Norvina Pro palettes. These pigments are phenomenal. So for the perfect divine blue that I have found, at least, we are using this one today. I'm going to use my color changer because I can't remember what the last color was of this brush. Perfect. We're going to just stamp this in and start blending it out. Start in the inner corner, and then we're going to go in with our liner right after. But I just find that this blue, it does it for me. We're starting to see it. We're starting to see where the Ursula reference came from. So I'm going to go in with my eyeliner now. I do use the Maybelline one because I was a Maybelline girly. And you can check that out here. It's very well loved. I think it's called Tatoo something. I love it. Doesn't bleed out. Easy to use. And we're just going to go in and go over top of that shadow. It's just a little bit more precise, I find, and crisper than, I'm assuming, the pencils that they would have used.
I just can't see myself in the bathroom, so as you're like walking, I'm like, oh.
There's a big mirror in here. Come in. Come in, come in. You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
This is so cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda, I'm Xtacy. It's nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
I've seen people going by, they're like looking and like, can I go in here? I'm like, yes, girl. Not scary. Just about to become the queen of filth, you know? No big deal.
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was Miss Amanda. She's here modeling. I wonder if the line that she's modeling will be out by the time I release this. If it is, I'll include her in the video so y'all can see her. If y'all aren't familiar with Cakeworthy, you need to get familiar with them. Queer-owned business, global brand, started as a small business, and now, whoop, she's global, honey. Build up that outer corner a lot and sort of scoop in just slightly. And we're going to drag this out just a little. Very, very lightly. Again, if you go too heavy with it, you're going to end up looking like Cleopatra, so just calm down a little. She's coming together. These are a game changer because they dry down and self-set. They don't lift any powder. They don't lift any of your work, which is perfect. So I'm going in with this orange. Don't freak out. I know Divine did not wear orange blush. Maybe she did at some point, but for this, I'm assuming from the photo that I'm referencing, she was wearing a red blush that when it was blended out, it turned this like orangey red hue, which was kind of common for them from what I've researched. So I'm going to start with an orange blush as the base, and then I'm going to go in with a red pigment from the purple palette to brighten it up, but still keep that orange hue. Tap and go in. So her blush, you know, was 80s time, so... And y'all saw how much powder I have on, so instead of contouring, this will work as your contour. But her blush went right in under that eye. Now, I know this probably seems scary, but you're seeing me do it in real time. And the blush didn't go too far down either. It's actually pretty close to where drag queens are wearing their blush now. Except for hers came quite close to her pupil. She also wore blush across her forehead. And then she had the littlest bit on her nose, which is an old school drag trick anyway. Which maybe it's done from her. I don't know. She did contour her jaw, but in a very different way than we do now. I'm going to start with that Morphe bronzer that we've been holding as our mirror. And I'm going to do this, and we're just going to round it out. So as much as you can, bring it forward. I'm going to go in and I'm going to deepen it just because there are going to be bright flashes. And I'm going in with the Maybelline Superstay. These powders, I'm telling you, they're perfect for everything. And same thing. Ready? I'm going to bring this all the way down. This is very different from how I would do my own, but it just gives that kind of fullness. So now that we have the orange base, we're going to blend in this bright ass red in the purple Norvina palette. And I'm going to start blending her in. Now, I could have just used the red, but I know that if I build it up, it's just going to become super red. And that's not what our goal is here. I'm going to bring that in through the forehead. And if you don't have these exact products, use things that are similar. One thing that I really want to bring up is how beautiful Divine was. She was gorgeous. That face, stamped. To this day, we're still replicating her makeup. But she was so beautiful, and I feel like people didn't really give her that, and I feel like they still don't. She was gorgeous. Like, look at these photos. A beauty queen. She just happened to be plus size and a character actress, so they didn't give it to her. So this is me giving Divine those beauty flowers now, because what a glamazon. They would laugh at her in interviews when she would talk about being a 6 foot tall, 300-pound man in a wig who was a glamazon, and that's what she was. She really, really was. So If you agree, drop some heart emojis in the chat and let me know. I am going to brighten up the blush just a little bit. It's also kind of giving Chapel, because Chapel did an inspired look by her. See, she's still literally permeating pop culture now, and she passed away in '88. What a legacy. The eyebrows are the most important part of this. She's got those really, really thin brows. I like to mark out above the point and then go from there. Now, typically your brow would start kind of here-ish. So I'm going to go ahead and go just a little bit further back and draw a line up. And then from here, so typically when you map out a brow, it's the corner of the eye, or sorry, the edge of the nose straight up. That's where the first dot should be. Then from there, it should be a diagonal through the pupil, should be where the point is. Then keep going through the edge of the eye, should be where the brow hits. Her top part of her brow was always a little bit further over. So we're going to just skew that just a little. I think the reasoning for that is because she didn't have like a hairline marker, so she had more space to play with. In the trial run that I did this, if some of you were in the live for that, you'll know it took me about 6 attempts to get these eyebrows in one go. So we'll see how we do today. This is attempt 1. And I'm not shisty, I'm going to speak the truth. So if I mess up, I will take them off and do them again. And not pretend like it's the first take, you know? There's nothing worse than watching a tutorial and everything goes perfect and you're like, oh wow. Meanwhile, the person is lying and they have to attempt it 20 times. I would rather let you know it's going to be a bit of work. Actually really happy with where these are. I think that this is going to be, I want to see it from further away. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the black and we're going to map it out and then I'm going to do it in liquid liner. Now, the look that I'm replicating, I'll show the photo here again. She did feathered brows, but I don't like the way that they look on me. I preferred her brow a little bit further on into her career, like this photo. So we're going to take the brow from that photo, even though we're replicating the rest from this photo. I'll start at the bottom. Bring this straight down. I'm just going to extend the point just a little bit. See? Now we're starting to see her. Right? She's coming to life. Hopefully she is in your home too. The same trick on this side. And just bring that corner up a little bit. So we're just using this Urban Decay one. We're going to go ahead and darken up these lashes. We're going to use our little brush again. We're just going to smudge out the bottom with the same blue that we used on the lid. Jean-Luc Cosmetics is another queer-owned Canadian business, so we love to see it. So for this, we're going to just go ahead and where our smile would start, you're going to extend that line out. Not too much, but a little bit. Draw the Cupid's bow, really aggressive, and really far down, and then up. Now, but I'm going to bring this point up so that it is quite pointed. So I'm going to go ahead and just blend this out, and then I'm going to apply this Mario Badescu just lip treatment. Okay, so this is what it looks like blended out. You'll notice there's a bit of a gloss finish to it now. It almost looks like I'm wearing a frosted lip. And that is just that lip treatment. I have issues with like lip texture on my lips. It drives me bonkers sometimes. So this helps kind of alleviate that. But it also will give you that glossy finish and sheer out this lipstick to be the perfect orangish red shade. So this is 808 in Revlon. I don't know what the name is because I'm screaming. So this lipstick color is called Dirty Shirley from Revlon, and it is number 808, which if you've seen my other videos, then you know that 808 is important to me because my grandpa's name was Bob. So when I was looking for a lipstick and getting very frustrated trying to find an orangish red one, it's difficult. I looked and saw 808 and then it was the perfect color. So, shout out to my grandpa. He's actually one of the first people that really pushed and believed in me. It's my grandma who got me into dance classes because when my mom remarried, then they could afford to bring me. And my grandpa would drive me to my rehearsals in Ancaster for my first professional show that I did. So it's really special to have this. And see how it's like that orangey red color? And this gives it that satin finish without it actually being satin. We're just going to blend that out a bit better. There she is. Crazy. When I was asked to do this, I was like, oh yeah, I can do that makeup, no problem. Tried it the first time and was like, no I can't, no I can't, no I can't. So I'm going to ask them if they want the moles. If you do want to do the moles, she had them on sometimes, she sometimes didn't. One is over here, just in the smile, like right beside, and then one right underneath the lid. I like the way that the moles look, but I want to see what the line looks like and see if it's incorporated in that. I did want to keep it as authentic to the 80s as possible. However, I am about to be under some lights and it's going to be some content shooting, so I want to really lock in my makeup. So I'm using Model in a Bottle. It's called Makeup Setting Spray. They sent this to me. I ended up finding it in my box of stuff that was sent. And it actually works really, really well. Divine usually wore like a full fan spread out lash. I'm also going to put a spot of highlighter on the tip of my nose because in a lot of photos it appears like she has highlighter on. I don't think that she does. I just think she was probably moist, you know, as plus size divas get moist. So I'm going to use one of my favorites. I don't even know if they sell this anymore. Use the littlest bit right on the tip of the nose. We're going to bring this in through the brow bone. Now we're going to change the shape of our nostrils. Okay, so we get to do the one mole. That was pretty big. Boom. What a nice final touch. I'm so excited for this, you guys. What an honor. Thank you for coming along today. I hope your makeup turned out good. We're going to go put on the wig. If you do replicate this look, let me know, tag me in your posts. I would love to see, and share in the love of Divine together.
You look so
yeah, that's okay. Fabian's here, everybody. Isn't that crazy?
You look so good.
Like,
so good.
it doesn't look like me.
No, it doesn't. That's amazing. You look bomb.
I look like a Divine.
Yeah.
Should always do that. So Divine. It is very interesting becoming her. But what an honor to try and like, I don't look exactly like her, but pretty fucking close. Filth. Filth is my life. Take whatever you like. So now that we've done the reveal, I did go in. We are wearing a hard front wig today, which is a little stress ball change for my 2026 brain, but they weren't wearing lace fronts back then. So I did add some makeup along the edges of that. Feel free to choose the lace front or whatever you want. If you want to know how to do this wig, it was $25 from Amazon. There's a tutorial that's coming out very soon. So make sure you turn on those notifications because it will be out in a couple of days.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Just goes in.
Oh my god. I got it. Amazing.
Love. That's great.
I'm like, yeah.
And then lean back a little bit. Love. Are Are you part of your e-com or are you part of your lifestyle program?
Yes, that was it. That was it.
Xtacy, it looks so good. Love it. Love it.
We have this one and then one more.
Thanks for tuning in, and make sure you leave a comment down below. What's your favorite divine moment? I'd love to know. Bye for now, my loves. Mwah. See you next time.